Runners coming forward. That's it. Off and racing in this Goffs, Coral Sale and DR Logistics and Warehousing 4-year-old Maiden. This is the opening division, 9 of them on their way across the top of the track. They'll shortly be turning and making their way on the downhill run towards fence number 1 and out front as they make their way on towards the first. It is Uncle Scrooge with Beat the Balash, who's going to be prominent early on. So making the downhill run out front, Uncle Scrooge with Beat the Balash. Right in behind these then is Presidential Order, and they in turn are being tracked by Getaway Island. Lamar and Formenton is next, being followed then by Flying Ace. Blue to You, Yellow Jacket down the inside. Between them goes Unique Soldier, and as they rise to the first, Spanish Stanch is going to be the overall back marker on touching down. Was slightly slower than the 8 in front of him, but as they're going up to pass the post, still 2 circuits in all ahead of them. And out front it is Uncle Scrooge under Alan Harney with the advantage, being chased in second spot by Beat the Ballot. Presidential Orders in third. They're being followed in fourth by Getaway Island with Lamalra and Formenton, who comes next. Next up towards that one's outside race is Flying Ace. Just in behind Flying Ace is Blue to You with Unique Soldier. Last of all in the early part of the race is Spanish Dange. Heading towards the top end of the track, fence number 3 awaits them on this part of the course, and out front, Uncle Scrooge gonna rise with the advantage from Beat the Ballot. Back in third spot behind these is Presidential Order. Lamaril Formenton comes next, being followed then by Getaway Island, and just in behind Getaway Island at this point races Flying Ace. The first runner is a handler for David O'Connor as they continue to make their way on down the hill, where fence number 4 and 5 awaits them on this section of the course. And still showing the way, Uncle Scrooge with Beat the Ballot, who's almost come through to join him now. So Uncle Scrooge, Beat the Ballot, Presidential Order towards the outside, being followed by Lamaril Formenton, with next up and behind these races Getaway Island, Flying Ace. They're being tracked then by Blue to You. Behind Blue to You, Unique Soldier, and last of all, Spanish Dange. Making their way now on to race again, right-handed back into the infield. And out front, Uncle Scrooge, Alan Harney. From Beat the Ballot, Jimmy O'Rourke. Presidential Order, Barry O'Neill third towards the outside. Lamar Formenton and Frankie Murphy come next. Just in behind these, Getaway Island and Dara Higgins. Josh Burry, who took her free opening contest, is aboard Flying Ace at about 5th or 6th, and they in turn are being followed by the Yellow Jacket of Blue to You and Barry Stone. Unique Soldier comes next, and on shipping, Owen O'Brien at the back of the field there at fence number 6 with Spanish Stands. So Spanish Stands is out of it, unseating Owen O'Brien at number 6. Good news, Owen is happily to his feet and walking away as they make their way now around the bend to the top end of the track and begin to race downhill towards the fence that'll be number 7 this time, last in the circuit's time. And out front, Uncle Scrooge, Presidential Order. Just in behind these then races Beat the Ballot as they continue to make their way on down the hill. They're being followed then by Flying Ace, Getaway Island. Lamarla Formenton comes next, and just in behind these races Blue to You and Unique Soldier. Heading on towards the fence to be the last of the circuit's time. And out front, Uncle Scrooge, Presidential Order, through around his outside. They're then being followed next in the field as they go up to pass the post with a circuit ahead of them by Flying Ace, who keeps company with Lamarla Formenton, and just in behind these then races Getaway Island. Blue to You comes next. They're being followed by Unique Soldier as they go out over the 6th last fence, where there was a mistake towards rear by Unique Soldier, but survives as they go now to make their way on through the gap and up towards the top of the track. And out front, still with the advantage, it is Uncle Scrooge from the Black Jacket of Presidential Order. Right in behind these then, as they begin to make the bend to the top, races Flying Ace in third, and they're then being followed next in the field by Blue to You down the inside. Lamalra Formenton comes next in the lime green jacket. They're being followed over by Getaway Island. Next up in behind these then races Beat the Ballot in front of Unique Soldier. Heading now to make their way on down the hill that's going to take them into the back straight. They have still 4 more fences and all left to be jumped in this Goffs, Coral Sale and DR Logistics and Warehousing 4-year-old Geldings Maiden Division 1. And out front it is Getaway Island, who's come through the lead. Uncle Scrooge has dropped back into third. Presidential Order is upsides, and they're then being followed next in the field by Flying Ace and Blue to You, with just in behind these Lamalville Formenton as they climb out over the third last fence. They're in front of Beat the Ballot and Unique Soldier, who's always been towards rear. Making their way now on towards the bend that's going to take them right-handed again back at the infield towards the second last fence, and out front Jetaway Island under Dara Higgins. Presidential Order Barry O'Neill around his outside for second. They're then being followed by the Yellow Jacket and Blue to You, with Flying Ace not far away towards the outside. In between them goes Uncle Scrooge, the long-time leader. They're going further and further clear of Lamalville Formenton, who's beginning to struggle as they climb out over the second last fence, where Presidential Order might just a touchdown with the advantage. Blue to You towards the outside. They're then being followed by Jetaway Island, with next up and behind these Uncle Scrooge and then Flying Ace. They're opening up clear of Lamalville Formenton, being eased at the back of the field. They're both Beat the Ballot and Unique Soldier. They won't go too much further. Rounding the bend at the top of the track, one fence left to jump when they swing in and race downhill, and out front with the advantage is Presidential Order, being chased down the hill in second spot by Flying Ace, and they in turn are being followed as they continue to make their way on down the hill. They've got one fence left to jump, and with the advantage as they continue to make their way down the hill, it's Uncle Scrooge, Blue to You, Flying Ace in third, then Presidential Order, who's dropped back to fourth. Here's the 13th and final fence, and it's Blue to You who's got the advantage of the last by a length. Over the near side, Uncle Scrooge, Flying Ace the far side, 3 in a line as they race inside the closing stages. Blue to You and Uncle Scrooge, they go to the line, nothing to choose between them. Blue to You and Uncle Scrooge. Back in third behind these was Flying Ace. They're being followed in by Presidential Order. Getaway Island pulled up before the last. Tight finish there between 41 Uncle Scrooge, and also involved in the photograph was Blue to You. 18, judge can separate them.